Hey, so this video will be for Unit 2, Lesson 7. In this video, we're going to go over conditional and actually making sure we're all set with making our characters move inside of C Sharp and Unity. So, the question of the day is, how can you make conditionals in C Sharp? What I want you to do is I want you to take a second, you'll pause this video and answer this question on your worksheet. The worksheet can be found on Google Classroom, Unit 2, Lesson 7. Take a second to answer this question, and then when you come back, we will go over it. By now, I will assume you've been able to answer this question, and we're going to actually go over how to make conditionals in C Sharp. So, my favorite thing to do whenever I encounter a question that I don't know inside of Unity is I just search simply how to make conditional statement in C Sharp, and at the end, I just type the word Unity in there. The reason why I type the word Unity in there is just so I can actually make sure that it populates for zones that are specific to using Unity. If you do that, you will see that there's a couple of resources that you can use. You can click on this one if you want and scroll down. And this will actually give you a breakdown on how to do it. You can see an example right here. We have if, we have the condition in here, open and close curly bracket. That's really how you make a condition inside of Unity. If you wanted another resource that can actually go more in depth into how to do this, there is this resource on YouTube right here called C Sharp If Statements in Unity Beginner Scripting Tutorial. If you click on that, any video that is made by Unity itself will be really good to break down the actual basics of how to use any tool in Unity. So, when I looked at this information, I saw that we had if, we had the information here, so on and so forth. I'm just going to copy this, bring it out to the whiteboard real quick, and let's add some text, and I'll replace this text with what I have here, what I copied. So let me zoom in here. Now, this is basically the syntax for how to make an if statement or a conditional statement inside of Unity. But just to break this down, you always start with the word if. Then from there, you put your condition inside the parentheses. So I just do condition. Whatever that condition is goes inside the parentheses. Afterwards, you do open curly bracket, close curly bracket, and whatever is inside the curly bracket is the code that will run when the if statement is triggered. So all you gotta do is just do that, and that is how you make a conditional inside of Unity, like that. Make sure you have that on your worksheet just so you know how that works. And now we're gonna continue on into the lesson. So today, really, we're gonna do a progress check. We're gonna review conditionals, and we're gonna talk about rigid body forces. Your challenge for today is you're going to complete the challenge on Unit 2, Lesson 7, the Pong level scene. I'm going to quickly go over that just because I got feedback that you guys want to know what the homework is in the beginning of the video and also at the end of the video. So here's how the homework is going to look really quickly. If you go on Google Classroom, and give me a second to get to Google Classroom, boom, and here. If you go on Google Classroom, you'll see Unit 2, Lesson 7. What you're going to do when you click on that is you're going to do the worksheet, of course. You should have been doing that already. But the Unity package contains all the content you need for your homework. You will download this Unity package and import it into Unity. Once you import that into Unity, if you click on Unit 2 Lesson 7, you will see a level called Pong level, and then you will also see objective. This is your objective on what you're going to do for your assignment. The Pong level is where you're going to do and complete that objective. That is how this is going to work. With that being said, I'm going to also reiterate this homework at the end of the lesson, so you have more framing on exactly how to do this. So back to here. So, like I said, progress check, conditional review, and then rigid body forces. Now, before we get into any of the real content, I want to actually just go over the new submission method. By the time you're watching this video, this should have been gone over in every single class, but just to make sure I'm on the same page, I'm going to go over it again with you guys. The O submission method was a little bit clunky, so I'm going to update it to be much simpler. On every single Google Classroom post from now on, there will be a link for the submission form. Whenever you submit your Unity package, you're going to click on that link, and you're going to fill out the form. The form is very simple. Put your first name, last name, put the class you're in, and then you would just click on the assignment you're submitting, and you're going to upload all your Unity packages to this form. You no longer have to go to like 20 different Google Classroom assignments. You just have to submit on this form, and that will be how you submit your homework. Like I said, you don't need to do that anymore, and boom. All right, we're going to do a quick progress check to see where you guys are at. And the way we're going to do it is I'm going to actually go over some of the tools with you to make sure we're on the same page. As a quick reminder, we are making the game of Pong. Pong is simple. We have two characters that move up and down. We have a ball that moves, and we have a score that's collected. By now, you should have at least the following things. You should have been able to add graphics to your Pong game. So you should be able to drag assets from the project window into the regular window. And you should have been able to create basic movement for your player one, and at least make the player move up. We're gonna walk through how that's done. The way you do it is you're gonna just open up your Unity project, and you're gonna open up module 3_5. I'm gonna go to Unity and do that really quickly on my end. So I'm gonna go here, and I believe 3_5 is under. I think it's under lesson 4. Let me just double check. That was actually under lesson 6, I believe. Let me just go grab that real quick, because I don't seem to have the Unity package in mind right now. So I'm going to download this Unity package very quickly. So because I don't have that in my scene, but you guys should already have it in your scene. Alright, so with that being said, this package is downloaded. What I'm going to do, I'm going to import this inside of Unity. And there we go. This will be inside of Unit 2 Lesson 6 folder. Let me import it. Double click in here, and here is the package right here. So open this file up, and yours might look a little bit different from mine. So some of you guys might have it where like the player 1 is not there. You just see player 2, and you'll see some weird error on player 1 on the side here. Don't worry about that. I'm going to show you how to fix it. What you do is if you only have player 2 and not player 1, just click on player 2, put Control D on the keyboard. That allows us to duplicate an object, and then I'm going to press W to move the object all the way over here, like so. Now with the object moved, I'm just going to rename this player 1. Just so we have player 1 there. Alright, so by now you guys should have been able to make your character move. So the way I'm doing that is I'm just going to go add component. And again, you need a box collider 2D and a Rigidbody 2D to make your character move at all. Right? When I run the program, this character should fall straight down to the ground. Like that. Now, I'm going to show you guys how we can create the player movement. And I'm going to show you not only just making the player move up, but also making it move down and making them stay still. So, I'm going to go to create, and we're just going to make a new C# script. I'm going to call this Pong movement. I'll call it 3. You guys can call yours Pong movement. I'm going to call mine 3 just because I've made this same script several different times. And press enter. Now, with that script here, what I'm going to do before I do anything else, is I'm going to click on player 1, and I'm just going to add this script to my component right here by clicking and drag it in. Or if you want to, you can just go to add component and type in the name of the script. Like that. From here, I'm going to go inside the script and just start making the movement. Now, in the last class, we talked about how we can just make the basic movement where he moves up. The way we do that, we're going to do if input dot get key, open parentheses, close parentheses, key code dot w, like that. And this code checks if we're pressing the key code w, we're going to do something. So what do I want to do? Well, I want to actually make this character move. So to move inside Unity, it all involves physics, and the way you access physics inside Unity is you access the rigid body component. So I'm going to do get component, and then open caret rigid body 2D, open close parentheses, and then dot. I'm going to go inside this object, and I'm going to do velocity is assigned to new vector 2, and I'm going to do x and y. So I'll do x can be 0, y can be 5, like so. When I save this program and go back to Unity and run it, if I press W, you see the character actually moves, like so. Alright, awesome. So, I have my character moving basically up and down. That is perfect. Now, right now the character, actually I had the character moving up. He's not moving down yet, but he moves up. Now, right now I have a couple issues. One, when I press W, he moves up, which is great. But he keeps falling down. I'm not pressing the down button, he's just falling down. That's due to gravity. So let me actually change that. I'm going to go to the player one object. I'm going to scroll down until I see Rigidbody 2D. And I'm just going to make the gravity scale and set it to 0. So Unity uses real world gravity formulas and math, but I don't want gravity on because I want this object to stay still when I'm not touching it. Now when I run the program and press W, he will move up. One thing you'll notice is that I'm only tapping W. I'm not actually holding it down, and he just kind of keeps moving up. So I want to make it so that when I press the S key, he moves down. The way we do that, we're going to go back here, and we're going to adjust this right here. Now, if we want the character to move up, we use the if statement. If we want the character to move down, we're going to do another type of conditional statement. And this is called an else if statement. So we do if I'm pressing W, he goes up, else if I press the key, the S key, he will move down. So just the same code, Rigidbody 2D, because I want to access the Rigidbody 2D component. Get the velocity, and do new, vector 2, 0, -5, like so. Save that, go back here. And again, I save by pressing Control S on the keyboard, and I go back here. Now when I run it, if I press W, he moves up. I press S, he moves down. Like that. Now, one thing that you'll notice when you're doing yours is that you're not actually holding the pawn character down. He just kind of moves up and down like that when you press the button. If we want the character to stay still, there's one more thing we need to do. Now, if I press the W key, he moves up. Else if I press the S key, he moves down. Take note of when I did the down movement, I made it -5 instead of +5, because +5 you go up, -5 you go down. But if you move, press W, goes up, S he goes down. But if he's not doing anything, well, that involves the else statement. And the else statement triggers if both the other conditions above are not true. You don't need to specify a condition in here. All you do is just get the component. Sorry about that. Rigidbody 2D, dot velocity. And I want to set it so that if I am not doing a single thing, the character is also not moving at all. So I'm just going to change that to be 0, 0. Did I misspell vector 2? I did. So if he press W, he moved up. Otherwise, press S, he moved down. Otherwise, we do nothing. When I save that and go back here, run the program, boom, boom, boom. If I'm not pressing anything, he starts moving like that. All right, awesome. So that's a quick review of how to actually make the characters move. Let's go back here. I'll break that down later. All right. Now, just to quickly review conditionals, we talked about 3 different types of conditionals. You guys know about the if statement because we did that for the do now. The second one, the else if statement, that's triggered if the if statement is not true. And finally, the else statement is triggered if both the conditions above are not true. The syntax is as follows. You start with the word if, open parentheses, close parentheses, inside the parentheses you put your condition, and then at the end of that you do open curly bracket and close curly bracket. All of your code for your conditionals needs to remain inside the curly brackets. Inside whatever code you want to execute, just put it inside there and you're good to go. Else if statement, you cannot have an else if statement unless you have an if statement, but it follows generally the same format. We have your condition, and everything goes inside the curly brackets, like so. The if statement and the else if statement have 2 separate curly brackets because they're 2 separate conditions. Finally, the else statement, same thing. The only difference with the else statement is there's no condition that needs to happen because the else statement already knows that it's going to trigger if the above if statements are not true. Like I said, always make sure your conditionals start and end with a curly bracket. Um, just so you know, so the computer knows when your statements begin and end. Now let's talk about rigid body methods. So, I don't know why I have this headline level of access, but ignore that. We're going to break down rigid body methods. So, to add velocity to an object, we've already talked about that. And adding velocity is as simple as getting the rigid body 2D component, accessing the velocity, and then setting it to be something new. So since we already know this code, what you're going to do is you're going to, on your worksheet, put that code into your worksheet. Let's just scroll down. Wrong one. We are in lesson 7. So if you scroll down, you can put that code into here, like so. But you don't know how to add a force. So what I want you to do is I want you to quickly search how to add force to an object in Unity 2D. I'm going to do that alongside you. I'm just going to simply do how to add force to an object in Unity 2D. Press enter, and you will see this resource right here called rigidbody2d.addForce. So if we want to change the velocity, we would do dot velocity. In this case, we will do dot add force. You scroll down, you will see the syntax below, and you will see if we go down to right here, we have this dot add force. If you're wondering why this says RB2D, if you go up here, they just made a variable to hold in the rigid body component, so that instead of doing the get component rigid body 2D, they just put it inside a variable. But all this is get component rigid body 2D dot add force, open parentheses, and then the direction you want that force to be applied in. The way this works inside of Unity is as follows. I'm going to show you guys how to make add force to an object, and I'm going to just show you guys by simulating the pong ball and how that would actually work. Now, there actually is no pong ball for you guys in your scene, but I'm going to add it in the next lesson. But here's how the pong ball works. I'm going to duplicate this object, move it over here, and scale it down, because it can be my makeshift ball. From here, since it can be my ball, I want it to move, so I'm going to add in a circle collider this time, and I'll add in a rigid body 2D. Just make sure that works. I'm going to run the program and make sure that ball is there and it'll fall to the ground. Awesome. Now I want to make that ball move, so I'm going to create a script that will allow that ball to move. So I'm going to call it ball move, like that. Now I'm going to click on my my makeshift pong ball, and I'm going to drag that script I just made into here, like so, and go into it. Now to make this work, you want this thing to add force only when the game begins, right? You don't want the pong ball to constantly add force. Only when the game begins to just get that ball moving a little bit. So if I want to do something when the game starts, I'm going to access the voice start right here and start modifying it. So I know I want to add force. I'm going to do get component rigidbody 2D dot add force, like so. Now instead of assigning it something, I am going to actually do open and close parentheses, and in here I'm going to do a new vector 2, and then tell the computer the direction that you want that force to go in. If I wanted to move to the left or the right, I would just say either the positive or negative direction. Left tends to be negative, right tends to be positive. I'm going to do positive X, and then I'll do 1, just so I can make it move upward a little bit as well. If I save that and go back to Unity and run the program, it was hard to see, but there was a little bit of force applied to that object. But it might be easier to see if I do 2 things. 1, let's actually increase the X. So I'll make it 50, right? Just to make sure that worked. So I save it, made it 50, run the program. Okay, so it's definitely moving, which is good. Now what I want to do is I want to make it so it doesn't fall. So I'm going to just turn off the gravity, like so. Run the program. And there we go. Now we see that the pong ball is moving. Now, with that being said, that's how you add force to an object. It with this code right here. Alright, what you can do, you can just copy this code into your worksheet just so you have a reference for how to do that. And with that being said, let's go back to the lesson here. So we were able to make the character move and you were able to add some force. Here's the homework. You're going to complete the challenges in the Pong level scene, and that's going to be inside the Unit 2 Lesson 7 folder. Like I said before, if you go course files, lesson activity, and go here, and click on this objective, you will see the objectives in here, and you're going to complete all of your activities inside the Pong level right here. Alright, awesome. That's really it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.